Hello, friends. This is Three Friends Talk. I'm Dr. Courtney.
I'm Dr. Leah.
This is Dr. Sylvia.
And we are
Three Friends Talk.
I don't know if that's the right song.
Go ahead, girl.
What song would you prefer? Y'all like my selection tonight?
Yeah, you want me to sing it?
Yes. Please, no. Well, Leah said no. I'm gonna let y'all hear this first line, and then we're gonna get into it.
It's real sexy over there, Dr. Courtney. You got the right background.
It matches my background.
Hands on my body.
Woo!
I thought you were gonna go for it.
You said no.
I did.
Well,
it's Wednesday night, everybody. You know what that means. Another episode of Three Friends Talk. Three Friends Talk.
Catch us live.
Dr. Courtney.
Oh, sorry. I'm Dr. Sylvia.
Dr. Leah.
Y'all, sorrows, prayers. We've been messing up all evening. First of all, we came on a little late.
It was just a little glitch, one little glitch. That's all. We've been messing up all evening.
Apologies for the glitching, and then I just overtalked Dr. Courtney by accident. But we're live every second and fourth Wednesday, 8 Central, 9 Eastern Standard Time on Facebook and YouTube.
Yay! Facebook and YouTube. So, and we hope that you are already listening to the podcast when you're not watching us live, and catching up on all the episodes that you may have missed, and maybe revisiting some. There might be some that might need to go back to and clarify a few things. So if you're not doing that, make sure that you are listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. And if you have not already, leave us a 5-star review. Hey friends, where are y'all listening from tonight? Facebook, YouTube, Atlanta, YouTube, Atlanta, Facebook. Yes, all of the above. Awesome. Dr. Courtney, she's checking in from the spa. I am. This is she goes back and forth every now and then.
Dr. Courtney, every now and then information.
This is what the vibe I'm trying to give. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Y'all know we all have our own spa backgrounds. Mine says Dr. Sylvia. Dr. Leah says Dr. Leah. But we can't get a phone call or a text saying, "Hey, let's go with the spa tonight."
Let's meet at the spa. Let's meet at the spa.
Yeah, let's get some self-care vibes going.
Every other show we should be at the spa. Okay. This is May. At least we know now. May with mental health awareness month.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
So the spa is part of your ritual.
Yes.
To maintain a good mental health. Okay. I like it. I don't get to the spa enough. I see it as luxury, not necessarily a routine. But maybe I'll change that.
Absolutely. I think I'm trying to incorporate it more as a routine and not a luxury.
So when
I use my HSA, that's how it's more health related, huh?
Yeah. I should look into that.
Yeah. Do that.
So when you go get your massages, do you consider that the spa with our friend Cedel?
No, it's not a whole spa experience. That's an experience. Well, it depends. Like, I think of spa as like checking in, like at the front desk, and then you put your belongings up, and then you may go chill in one room
and have the air smells.
Yeah, you may have some hors d'oeuvres or whatever, and then you go and have your girl.
My spas just have like granola balls, not hors d'oeuvres.
You're not going to the right spa.
I'm going to the right spa.
And then you might have several different treatments that day. You might have a massage, you might have a facial, you might have some of them would provide steam room.
Do y'all get in the pool?
Yeah, I have before, not not well, I don't think there's one in Memphis like that. Maybe like Lifetime Fitness or something. Yeah, they
I
have
would
the
say
they have
That's
the
not a
pool,
spa.
but they
the
have
best
the like
spa
they may have a
experience.
spa pool. They have a pool just for
It went
Yeah.
left.
The
I
best
don't
spa
know how we got
experience
to
I've
the
had
beginning.
was in Cancun. Inside of their spa, it was almost like a waterfall. You know, it was the water. It was actually the water massages that we signed up for, and they would have the large pool, and they would have the jets shooting out the water, so you could have that beating like on your back and stuff. And then you go under like this man-made waterfall and just let the water beat down on you. It was wonderful.
Oh, that
my
was the perfect song for tonight, huh?
my favorite experience
Well,
was in
Coco
Arizona.
Jones.
Yeah, I went to Arizona and
You went to Mirabal?
no, I didn't go there. I went to two different spas. I had a facial at one and I had a massage at another. But I think I've heard of that one. Is that one in
Mhm.
Phoenix or
Mm-mm.
Scottsdale?
I didn't go. I went to Sedona, so they don't have it there. We went to, I forget. I'll have to post it later. It was a beautiful resort though.
I went to one at the Omni and I went to one somewhere else. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but both of them were great. But it was like a all day experience. So yeah, it was like food, drinks, pool, sauna, everything.
That's why it's hard for me to do it like in my regular routine because I don't want to commit a whole day to that.
I do.
But when I'm on vacation, I can. So yeah.
Yeah, change that up. It might change your whole life.
Okay, girl. I'm gonna take you up on that.
Speaking of change your whole life, have y'all seen Queen Charlotte?
Is it gonna change our lives?
Change your whole life.
It was really good though. I enjoyed
I
it.
haven't seen it yet.
And this is why we can't talk about it in full because of the spoiler alerts. But I will
Yes.
say
No
that I
spoiler
thoroughly
alerts.
enjoyed it. Yes.
Okay. Can I do it's not, I mean, it's a question. It's not really a spoiler.
Go for
I
it.
saw a post. People were talking about Queen Charlotte, and they said, "How many of you have stayed in relationships that are no longer meeting your needs past their prime?" And I was like, "Oof, oof." Um,
Is that what the
You
show is
saying
about?
you in a relationship it's past this prime?
I'm speaking past tense. While you trying to put me on Front Street?
I don't want. I was trying to
Um,
understand.
no, just I've been in relationships where we probably should have broke up. Probably a year prior to us breaking up. And, you know, I just thought about it. And I didn't really, when I watched Queen Charlotte, I didn't see it in that lens. So to see that question, I was just like, ooh.
That's what I think I'm struggling with. Like, how does that really fit the scenario of the show? Was that really where she was? How do we know it wasn't meeting her needs?
Great point. I mean, because they had 15 kids. So, I
15?
mean,
Now here's the thing. Shonda Rhimes did a great job with actually incorporating real facts about the Queen Charlotte and King George that existed back in 17, whatever. He did have mental conditions. It's factual. They also had 15 children. I think in in real life, the younger two children, when they were like 1 and 4, had passed away. I don't know from what, but there were an abundant amount of children. So they had a very robust, you know, a romantic life.
feels better than any
Never
man
mind,
I
Sylvia.
ever met.
But there were she incorporated some facts in there. So um I think she did good to say from the Bridgerton series that she had. Then here comes Queen Charlotte. Who knows if there'll be a Queen Charlotte too? And then they go back to Bridgerton 3. I think she could take this so many ways. But good job with the
Creativity was
casting,
creativity. I enjoyed it.
the fashion, the hair was everything. I'm like, oh, I need a fro with a crown. Absolutely, it was good.
I take your
But
word for it.
we'll leave it there. So, Dr. Leah,
Thank you.
since
Yeah, we didn't spoil anything.
did y'all
Okay.
see that they had spoilers already for the Beyonce concert when she opened in Sweden?
Is that a spoiler though?
I didn't necessarily. I knew people would try to show the
Video.
concert, but I want to be surprised when I
I
go.
saw
So I
like
was
little
trying to
snippets
avoid
on
it.
on IG on the Shade Room
I
today.
just saw a big her face in the background. I didn't see
I
like no
saw
dancing.
costumes and everything.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
I have tickets for her show in Houston in September around my birthday. And by then I'll probably have seen the whole show on somebody's social media by then.
It's different though.
I hope they keep an element of surprise.
They will,
Yes.
especially in Houston. When I last saw Beyonce, the only time I saw Beyonce, it was in Houston, and it was
You're not
a
a
great
fan?
show. No, I am a fan. I'm not a fan of big concert venues.
I
But
get
like
it.
to go.
I'm the same.
I saw Lil Wayne at the House of Blues last week. Like that's my vibe. I don't like.
A smaller
Oh,
intimate
how
setting.
was
Right?
that? How was Lil Wayne performing these days?
He was very late, but
Millie.
he was very apologetic, and it was a great show. I
What
mean,
was he apologizing for?
for being late, he was really, really late.
A Millie.
But it was a good show, but it was just little snippets.
Gucci.
He would go like, "A millionaire, a million square, tougher than Nigerian hair." Thank you very much.
He
So
probably
like,
he had to run through so many.
Yes.
Was he on stage even an hour?
yeah, he had to be on stage an hour, but
Oh, okay.
not much more. But it was great. It was great.
Mm.
Yeah. But I mean, Beyonce can't do we'd be mad if she came out there teasing us. So she got to do, and she about to make $1 billion. So cheers to the queen. I'm definitely a fan. I just, if somebody gifts me with tickets,
I am very entertained by
said
all
the
the
same
people's
thing.
outfits going to the concert. I mean, it is very elaborate. So now I'm like, am I gonna be the only one in normal clothes going to this concert? Everybody's got the metallic boots. They're all wearing the.
You got metallic boots.
I do, but I
Dang.
mean, now I feel like
Anyway, I don't know why you trying to play like you
I don't
want to
look
in there
like everybody else
in
at
some
the
jeans
concert.
and a ponytail. It's just not happening.
They have all the platinum, metallic, and silver rodeo outfits.
So you
That's
need
all
a
I'm
hat?
doing.
I can get you that hat. Okay, y'all.
I've ordered my my mirror ball hat. Thanks.
Speaking of
See?
Texas,
She
shout out
already
to
on it.
rodeo that's coming up in the fall. But anyway, speaking of Texas,
I was here a couple weeks ago.
Okay. I didn't know y'all had cowboys in Memphis.
We have a rodeo that comes every year.
Is it a traveling rodeo or
black rodeo?
It's a traveling rodeo.
No, but they have
Like
there actually is, but I learned this. There is a community of people that I guess consider themselves cowboys.
Oh, good.
In a neighborhood here. I did not know that.
Take us there next time, not where the
No, y'all
too
too scary.
I'm good.
Y'all scary.
Leah, I like your shirt. Is that some organic chemistry?
It's the melanin.
Good job, Dr. Sylvia. Good job.
Well, I couldn't see the bottom of it.
It's the
melanin
chemical structure for melanin.
Structure. Yeah.
Y'all, can I get into this guest? Because I'm excited.
Yes, we are ready.
So speaking of Texas, our guest tonight hails from Texas. She is a board-certified Christian psychologist with a specialty in couple and family psychology. She was awarded by the American Board of Professional Psychology, where she was awarded that by the American Board of Professional Psychology. She's the owner of a solo private practice, Perry Psychological and Consultation Services. She is dedicated to serving high-functioning professionals like us and people with unique careers and lifestyles in sports and entertainment, not us. Outside of her clinical work, she is an APA certified instructor offering training and talks about mental health, relationships, and the intersection of faith. Her expertise has been featured in several media outlets, including Therapy for Black Girls, We Stand, Cosmopolitan, The Oprah Magazine, and Huffington Post. She is the author of the books The Emotion Devotional, 40-Day Journal to Emotional Wholeness, and the Emotional Devotional Workbook. We are excited to bring to the Three Friends Talk stage Dr. Q Perry. Woo!
Hey, Dr. Q.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Look at that. We got two Dr. Perrys on with
We
us
have
tonight.
two Dr. Perry.
I know. Isn't that something?
That's a
Every time
first
we're
in
out,
Three Friends
he
Talk
says, "Hey,
history.
Dr. Perry." I'm like, "Hey, Dr. Perry."
Oh.
So cool. And let's just
Looking like y'all related.
I've already been asked that twice today.
Really?
Yes. Not to our knowledge. I'll say
Not
it
to
like
our
that.
knowledge.
But we do. Our families do go back. We have a few
Okay.
relationships. Yeah, but that's
Oh,
how
cool.
Dallas is. Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay.
Well, since we want to get to know you a little bit more, we're gonna call you. Y'all gonna be cousins tonight. That'll be good. But
Okay.
I we're gonna get our listeners to know you a little bit more and play a game called This or That. So, are you up for it?
I'm up for it. Let's do
All
it.
right. Usually, I'll have Dr. Leah as the timekeeper, and I think we'll continue in that. Are you ready, Dr. Leah? We're gonna put 30 seconds on the clock. We will try to beat the buzzer, and the more questions we can ask in that time frame, the better. So let's see if we
Okay.
can do it.
Let's
You
do
ready,
it.
Dr. Leah? Okay. So when I say go, hit the button and go. iPhone or Droid?
iPhone.
Heels or sneakers?
Heels.
Talking or texting?
Talking.
Cardio or meditation?
Meditation.
IG or TikTok?
IG.
Okay. Vacation or staycation?
Vacation.
Back rubs or foot massages?
Foot massages.
Rich friend or loyal friend?
Loyal friend.
Love or money?
Love.
You hesitated. Coffee, wine, or Hennessy?
Wine.
And we right on the money.
We made it.
That was actually the closest we've ever been. Congratulations.
It really was.
In a long time.
I think that goes back to season 1 where we made it right.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
Maybe once. That's pretty awesome.
It's been a while.
Wow.
It's been a while.
I wanted to qualify all of those, but I was like, just keep going, keep
No,
going.
I see you want to put some thought
Right.
into it, but I was like,
Which
Don't
one did you
hesitate no
hesitate
longer.
on? Which one? Lover? No.
Was it the money one? Money.
she
Love
said love or money, and she said love.
What was
Let me think.
hesitation?
Long and hard.
Say it
All right,
again.
let's get into it tonight.
That's okay. It be that way sometime.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. Q, thank you for being on the show with us tonight. A fellow Xavierite, as we have learned. Yes. So tell us about your journey from Xavier to being the founder of Perry Psychological and Consultation Services. You decided to take the PhD route. So we want to know what was your thinking and how that, how you became Dr. Perry.
Yeah, so initially I was going to go to medical school because I was going to be a psychiatrist. And then Xavier had one of those wonderful panels with all the different disciplines in medicine. And I actually had a chance to talk to a psychiatrist. And I was like, you don't really do that much therapy. And I don't know that I love medicine that much. So I switched over to just general psychology. And then I actually ended up getting a terminal master's degree because I was going to go the LPC route. But as soon as I got it, I was like, that your original goal was to get a PhD in psychology. So I decided to go to UNT or stay at UNT because that's actually where my master's degree was. And so I switched over to the psychology department and got a doctoral degree in counseling psychology. And right after that, during that process, I did most of all of my training at the Dallas VA Medical Center. And so I was there until, so I did my practicum, internship, postdoctoral fellowship, and then they hired me on as staff. And then after that, I started my private practice part-time in 2018, which was only supposed to be part-time. It was going to be, a couple nights a week and some Saturdays. And within a few months, I looked up and I was 4 nights a week and every Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I left it full-time in 2019.
Okay.
Wow. It was meant to be, clearly.
So, and you said you didn't want to do private practice.
Never. This was never, ever, ever in my plan. Like I was always like, so I actually was in my dream job. That's why I was hesitant to go. I was like, God, are you sure? Because this is actually my dream job. But I never saw myself doing private practice. I never saw myself even in the sports and entertainment world at all.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
But it's been fulfilling, obviously.
Absolutely, it has.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Look at that smile.
I know.
Okay. Before we get too deep, I'm excited to learn about your journey. Like we've been wanting to have you on the show for quite some time. But before we get too deep in that, I wanted to touch base about the recent mass shooting that occurred here in North Texas at the Allen Outlet Mall. And just what would you say in general? So many people are hurting, young and old, right now, and so many people are just numb to this craziness. I was talking to someone I worked with that lives in Ohio, and she hadn't even heard about it. So just any insight you can offer.
Yeah, I actually like that word you just used, numb. That's what I'm actually finding. And I think sometimes people feel bad that they feel numb because they wonder if other people are going to assume that they don't care. But sometimes people are numb, they're detached. And so, what I would say is let your feelings be what they are. Without the judgment, and also to monitor your own expectations, because, if I'm geared up, I want to, I'm angry, I want to do something about it. And you might be like, I care, but I don't have the capacity to keep taking this on. And that's okay. Neither approach is wrong. So that's one of the main things I would say. And also, of course, take care of yourself and do your due diligence, and see, what safety precautions are in place in different areas. But the main thing I would say is not to end up letting trauma response be so big to where you end up isolating yourself and your family, and you end up in a prison where, it starts out with, I don't go to church anymore, I can't go to the grocery store anymore, can't go to school, can't go to the mall now, and you end up miserable trying to be safe. It's a lot.
It is.
It is.
We needed to hear that though.
Absolutely.
Thank
So,
you.
how would you define emotional wholeness? What is emotional wholeness, and why is that important?
That's a really good question. So for me, I consider emotional wholeness as a journey instead of, it being a destination. And so when I think about the things that happened to us in life or didn't happen to us or for us in life, some of those experiences can leave us broken. Whether it's emotionally, can have us having, broken or unhealthy thoughts. And so I see that journey towards emotional wholeness as taking those broken pieces and really examining them and making something very beautiful out of it. I know a lot of times when people come to me, they'll ask me, Dr. Perry, give me some coping skills. I'm like, I can give you some coping skills, but let us actually get to the root of it. So it's like having, a crack in the wall in your house. And so you don't want to paint over it and put a picture of it. You actually want to get to the foundation of it. And so to me, part of that emotional wholeness journey is really getting to the root of it and plucking it out, taking a look at it and seeing what it is, and reconstructing it towards wholeness.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I like that. No cracks in the walls.
No cracks in the wall.
So I think we talked about it a little bit before we start the show. We're in graduation season. I have a graduate Friday night. Oh my God, y'all.
That's exciting.
It is. I'm very excited. And
You cried a lot.
No, I have not cried. I cried months
We
ago.
need
It was
to get to
crazy.
the foundation.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah. Y'all will see. But yeah, so this is really a transition period. In the next couple of months, these students will be going on, or either starting careers or starting training or going on to the next level of college, in their academic journey. So what tools can you say for new grads they should use to maintain positive mental and emotional health during these transitions?
Yeah. One of the main things I would say is to hold on to that support system, because, and I think back to being that age, I'm like, I'm grown, I got it, I'm gonna be fine, but then once you actually get to that next phase, you're like, maybe I don't have it, and I still do need my mom, I still do need my friends, in a different way. And so I would really just say making sure that that they monitor their expectations and not try to force themselves into a certain level of independence, because it's normal, natural, it's going to take time, being open to new experiences, and really adjusting expectations not to be perfect, right? Because usually they've managed the whole high school season, right? They've learned how to study and get a certain GPA. But when you get to college, or you get to that next job, or you get to the military, or you get to whatever, the next step is, it's different. And so you're going to mess up. You're not probably going to get it right the first time, and being okay with that and allowing yourself some grace in that transition.
Very good advice.
I like that phrase. Allow yourself some grace. We are not patient with ourselves.
And on top of that, what does grace look like for you? So, because I feel like that's something I had to discover. Like, what does allowing myself some grace look like? So I think that's important.
I like that.
Not being too hard.
Because it looks different for everybody.
Right.
For sure.
One
thing that sorry. Go ahead.
I thought you had another question.
She just smiling.
Go ahead. What were you going to say, Dr. Q?
Me too.
Were you going to say something, Dr. Q?
Oh, no, I was just going to add on to that. When you were saying, what does grace look like for you? I was just going to say, I think that's even a good topic for parents and aunties and uncles and grandparents to start to have that discussion. Like, so this is an opportunity for you to apply grace to yourself right here. You messed up, or maybe, this opportunity didn't work out the way you thought it, would or should. How can we apply grace here?
I just had that conversation with my son. He just had his spring concert, and he was troubled by this piece that he had to play with his trumpet. And Devin was like, "Oh, I can't get that part." And I was like, "Be patient with yourself. It's okay. Go take a walk and come back to it." Like,
and what's so funny about that? Because I remember when Jalen played piano. Like, we don't even know when they mess up. Like, they know, because they've been going over and over. And Jalen would be like,
"What?
I'd be like, I was like, just keep playing. Nobody knows."
That is so funny, because I went to Arts Magnet, Performing Arts High School, and I played the violin all 4 years. My mama, yeah.
I learned something new about Dr. Sylvia. I promise. Every
I have lived, honey. I have lived.
Violin.
Okay, girl.
My mom was like, "You play the cello. I bought you a flute. You sticking with this violin?" Because I was over it.
No cello?
I had a cello. Yeah.
Isn't it the big one you got to hold up?
Yeah.
You was gonna be in the back
not
of
the upright bass. Preston played that. My brother played that. Anyway, I remember I wasn't that good. I was okay. I had lessons but I wasn't that good. And so my orchestra teacher one day, she said, we had to play a piece, the final exam. She said, "That's the best I've ever heard you play." And I was like, "Oh, wow. Finally." Girl, she gave me an 88. I said, "I give up. I'm not playing this no more." Where people that were like singers, they would get like hundreds. And I'm like, no wonder I'm not in the top 10%. Like, anyway.
Sylvia, you reminded me of the dude on TikTok. One kiss is all it takes, and you just threw it.
That's exactly. But my mama was like, "You not putting this down," because I was a better singer. I actually got in a singing group. So mama was like, "You gonna sing and play?"
You in a singing group?
I told you, we learned something new about our friend every episode.
And they think I'm lying every time.
Who's in y'all group?
I was in the Lab Singers, and I was like a jazz doo-wop pop. And I also made it to the Entertainers, which was like musical theater, but I couldn't be in both, so I had to choose. And so I chose Lab Singers because that was a group that Nora Jones was in.
Child, Sylvia got a whole album out there somewhere.
But since we're talking about Arts Magnet, shout out to, he was older than me, shout out to Brother Sean. Keep praying for him. He's going through something right now, and we just
absolutely.
And that's the last time I saw
for him.
Dr. at Sean's concert in January. So lift him up in your prayers.
And he was part of the Entertainers.
He's part of, he has Grammys. He's played for Erica, God's Property, Kirk Franklin, and he does his own
big time.
He has his own album called 7 Summers, and he has another one. I don't know the name of it. That I love 7 Summers. Like, I have that on repeat. So it's on Spotify. You can download it. Sean Martin's album, 7 Summers. I'll send it to you. I'll post it too.
Thank you.
But yeah, keep him lifted up in prayer. But my question
I know.
For all of that.
You've been all around the world.
The violinist.
I didn't have no grace with that violin. I used to hate it, and I have never picked it up again.
Oh,
After
wow.
Oh,
graduation,
that's how I feel about.
I gave it away. It's still in the family, but like I've never picked it up again. People were like shocked by that, but my mom should.
I can tell we still talking about that violin.
I know. I hope
I'm gonna get to the foundation.
hope you giving yourself some grace. Oh, baby.
Anyway, in a post-pandemic world, everyone is grieving and has either known somebody, a close one, a loved one that they've lost, or a coworker. We've all been touched by this pandemic. Maybe not directly, but we've lost people during this time. And as we head into Mother's Day and Father's Day, it can be very challenging. What are some ways to cope with this new normal? Maybe this is your first Mother's Day or Father's Day without your loved one or experiencing your loved one in a new way. So shout out to all the caregivers out there.
Yeah, that's such a good question. So I actually lost my mom in 2018. And so, and I do a lot, it's an accidental specialty because part of my residency was to do a year on hospice. So I got a lot of experience with helping people in that transition, either themselves or their families. So I would really say to expect the unexpected emotions, right? Your grief journey is going to look very different, even if we, have lost the same person. If we're siblings, your grief journey is going to look different. And so being okay with how you feel, because I know there's been times where, especially within that first year or two, I was just kind of sit like I already know, okay, Mother's Day is coming, Father's Day is coming, birthdays and things like that. But what I found was that I actually didn't have the expected emotion on that day. And I'm like, okay, I made it, but I didn't expect that the next day or the day after that, or just because it's Tuesday at 1 o'clock, it hits. Yeah. So I would just say, really be okay with whatever your emotional experience is and not have judgments on it, because it doesn't indicate that something's wrong or that you're cold or that you haven't made as much progress as you think you should have made. And, I make a joke out of it when I do my grief talk every holiday season, but I tell people also is don't get caught up trying to be the grief police. Like you don't have to earn grief points. You don't have to prove that, I'm more sad than my brother, or just because, I'm having a good time, on this particular holiday and not crying, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm over it. And so sometimes we can add to our stress when we start to look around and expect other people to grieve the way that we grieve. Other tips I would say to adjust to that new normal is to check in with yourself and see what it is that you need, because sometimes we try to keep up the same traditions and maybe that's not what you need. You can go back to it or you can change it. But just really giving yourself an opportunity to do what it is that you need for that particular holiday. If you want to switch it up for Christmas, if you want to switch it up for death anniversary, just different things like that. So that way you're not trying to force yourself to continue on as normal when things are really not normal the way that they were.
Absolutely. You get a new normal if you need to.
You
right?
You
I think it's gonna hit Leah really at a weird time of graduation. Day. Yes. It's gonna be 6 a.m. on a Thursday morning.
I think I get it. And then I think because also that he chose to stay at home, maybe that's why I'm able to kind of contain my emotions a little bit better than I think.
He's not staying at home, right?
No, he won't be at home.
You gonna let him stay on campus like
it's not gonna be that whole what I had prepared myself for, the whole moving in, out of town and leaving, getting on the road and that type of thing. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be a little different. So but then it might not. It may hit me again, like just being at home by myself. Because even when he's not at the house, sometimes it's kind of weird. Like it's so quiet, even though it's he's upstairs, but it's just not that nothing. So
you can't just yell and
right.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah. That whole, and I think it's gonna be the more adjustment of, hey, is he gonna text me? Is he gonna call me? Is he gonna check in anymore?
I've been there.
Right. So you understand.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Because your son is not, how far is he from you? Not real far.
No, just like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. So it's still like
not close,
y'all pray for me in 8 years when Devin turns 18.
I know. I just had a pitter patter when she said that. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
If my baby don't call and check in with me, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to go find him.
Oh, it's a thing. It
Oh
is
my
a
God.
thing.
I don't
Oh,
know.
me and
Did y'all
Devin,
call
That
and
would be
check
a
in?
different.
we are joined at the hip, honey. Oh my gosh.
It
Okay.
is a thing.
You said, did we, like, when we were in college?
Yes.
I mean, I live down the street from mom and
I
dad.
did at least a couple times a week.
No.
I still
No,
call my mom every evening. I
I
knew I
did.
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
like
I
we
did.
probably talk once a week, but I'm not the check-in type. I hate it when people are like, text me when you get home. I don't.
What
Oh,
you gonna do
like
if I
when
don't
you
make
out
it
with your
home, right?
girls, like text me, make sure you get Sylvia be the one, don't text. You check on her the next
No,
day. Of
I
course I made it home.
do that. Yeah,
No, I don't
do
take it for
that.
granted, but I just am like,
I usually send like the home emoji and I send the house picture and I'm like, that's home. I'm not doing all the text. Okay, never mind.
yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
There's usually a stigma around seeking care for your mental health, but it's improved. I think it's improved. I
I do
hope you
too.
guys have seen that as well. But you know, when you hear people talk about therapy, they use words like it's work that you have to do, or I spend so much time crying. So can therapy actually be fun, or is it always, a downer?
That is a good question. I think it depends on your goal. I think it also depends on your therapist, and it depends on the season that you're in. I will say, no matter what it is, therapy is hard because it's hard work, or it should be hard work. But it doesn't have to be doom and
Heart's work.
gloom.
You're
Hard
saying
work.
heart.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, it's hard because it's hard work.
Yeah.
But I do think that there can be some, fun moments in therapy, or funny moments. So, like, for example, one of the things that I challenge my clients and patients to do is to expand their emotional vocabulary. So it's like a challenge of, okay, can we get beyond the I felt some kind of way, or I'm pissed? Let's actually expand. Right. So that can be fun and funny. It can also be sometimes there's fun in doing things like role plays, right? So if you have a very difficult conversation coming up, an example of an exercise that we can do is I can be you, and you can be the person that you're going to talk to. And so I can show you what you sound like to other people,
Oh, I
right?
want somebody to
And
do
give
that
you
to me.
feedback,
Oh,
or vice
wow.
versa. So that can be fun or funny. It's learning, but it's like a
Or
good,
it might be a shock to be like, who is that?
That backfired on me.
Who said that?
We can
Really?
talk about it later. We can talk about it
I
later.
think that would be fun. I need somebody to role play with me and answer as I would answer. I'd
That
like to
also
hear
works
it.
in a couple and family therapy too, where it's like, okay, you be each other, and so you can see what you sound
Oh,
like,
Lord.
or at least
If I
how the
had
other
to be
person
Dwight.
thinks you sound.
I could be Dwight and he can answer like me. And then he's going to have to go back home to his mama.
Not see them
Because
all.
I'm not going to like his answer.
She done put the man out.
Already. Nope.
So I always like to say that it's okay to give yourself permission to go to therapy. And that can be with whoever you choose. And the
Yeah.
first therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist might not be the right fit. It's kind of like dating, but
Yeah.
don't give up on yourself. Because like Dr. Q said, it's hard work. This is about you and walking through some things that can be hard and can be light and fun sometimes as well, especially when you make progress. I believe in therapy. I'm therapized. And
Is that a word?
today.
Okay.
She got an album and got words in the dictionary.
An album? I don't have an album, not yet.
Courtney said you got an album.
One day, claim it. I'm in my winning season, so you never know. But no, in all seriousness, I think especially for people that look like us, giving ourselves grace and saying this is bigger than what I can handle in the traditional things that I go to and outlets to help me. Therapy can be a wonderful tool to help you get to the next place, even if you don't think you need it. Working on boundaries. It's not always easy to say no or no just because, so there are always things that you can kind of work through or learn to see things in different ways. So I always like to throw it out there.
All right, girl.
Look at you. How long you been doing this, Sylvia?
Since she been
Well,
therapized.
Well, the story goes, my dad, he died 2 months to the day before I graduated. And he was really holding on, trying to I didn't know how sick he was. He was really trying to make it to graduation. So it was just shocking. And then, we had to sit for boards and just, anyway, I reached all these goals. And then, so that was '05. Then in '09, I had reached all the goals that we set together. And I just had to, like, it was like I dropped everything and went to therapy. Like, I just couldn't, I didn't have any new dreams. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I just hit a wall and I had to go. And it was a really hard decision for me because I was like, that's not how we grew up. And so I went to a Christian psychiatrist that I'd known my whole life. And she really helped me get through that depression because that's what it was. So yeah, that's how it started. And then I kind of got released from her. I would check in with her like once a year. And then I started going back as I started having anxiety a few years back. And I think there were a lot of things changing in my world that I didn't know how to handle. And so I've kind of got a new therapist and she's helped me with that. And I'm stuck with her. So she's helped me through a lot of stuff. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's good.
Thank you for the revelation.
Yeah, I didn't know all that, huh?
I learned something new every show.
Anyway.
So, Dr. Q, if someone's looking for a Christian psychologist, what's the best way for them to find one? And what's the difference between, a regular clinical psychologist and then someone who identifies as a Christian psychologist?
Yeah. Before a person starts to look for a Christian provider, I would actually encourage them to start thinking about what it is that they're looking for. And the reason why I think that answer is important is because, when I ask people, how do you want your faith to be incorporated in your treatment plan? And they might say, 10, very important. But then when I ask them, what does that look like? It's like, well, what I'm going through, just pray for me. So they don't really want me to do anything in the session. And so they don't necessarily need a Christian psychologist or therapist for that, But if you are a person who might be looking to have some of those deeper discussions, what do you think God is saying to you here? How do you typically hear from God? Do you think that you have any religious trauma? Or if you're looking for someone to be able to point out to you that, hey, I don't know if your spirituality is actually working for you because it's always keeping you anxious and guilty and condemned and all those kinds of things. I think that's where a Christian psychologist can come in because a person who actually advertises as a Christian psychologist is saying, hey, these conversations are welcome. I personally identify as a Christian, and I also incorporate that into your treatment if you want it. Whether the person's a Christian or not, I incorporate my faith into how I treat them, into seeing them as somebody who's worthy, no matter what sin they've committed or are committing. But if they want to incorporate it into treatment, then as a Christian psychologist, one has the actual education and experience to be able to help look at all the different layers, because sometimes there is that recognition that you're not going to probably pray this away. You probably need to consider some medication, and you need somebody to be able to have the education to encourage you to consider that. Or you might have somebody to be able to say, from the flip side of things, is this an emotional response to something that you believe is a sin according to your faith? How can we help you work through that and get yourself back on track with what you believe is what God wants you to do? So that's kind of a long answer to say it depends. Like all things in psychology, for the most part, it depends on really how you want that to look. But if you're sure that you want a Christian provider, then there's different directories out there. There are some that are general, like for example, Psychology Today. You can search specifically for a Christian therapist, but there are some actual Christian therapist directories out there.
Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
I never even thought about it that way, as a person might be beating themselves up, because I didn't meet this goal. Or like I'll give myself as an example. When I became pregnant and I wasn't married, I beat myself up for a good man. I'm Catholic. So I beat myself up for a minute, like I know this isn't what I was supposed to do, and I've done all these great things in the timeline that I thought was supposed to happen. And I didn't go to a therapist. I actually went to my priest and talked to him about it. And I was kind of like, I don't even feel right participating in church anymore, and I don't want people to see
Mhm.
me. And he's like,
Mhm.
like, why do you look at yourself that way? Like he was the one more encouraging me. Like, I want you to participate just because of that. Like, you need to be that role model for people. I'm not
Yeah.
condemning you. I'm not looking at you a certain kind of way or going to treat you any differently.
Mhm.
Even though I still was like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna take a step back for a minute. But it was
Yeah.
just to talk to somebody and just be like, hey, you're not wrong for what you've done. It's just a different way of life now. That's all, basically.
So you judge
Yeah.
yourself worse than
Oh
people are
yeah.
going to judge you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
no,
think about that was an opportunity for healing, because think if he had handled that the wrong way,
right.
that
Yeah,
could have been a
it would have
disaster.
Oh
destroyed
yeah.
her.
It could
Yeah.
have been horrible.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yep. Good
And so
point.
And
there's that
18 years
religious
later,
trauma.
we got to graduate.
And
Yes, we do.
I think that a Christian practitioner, there I think anybody could help you with church hurt, but to have someone that, just saying that, like if he had responded differently,
Mhm.
that could cause church hurt, and there are a
Right.
lot of people
Yeah.
our age and younger that are dealing with that. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, what's next for Dr. Perry? The Dr. Q Perry, not Sylvia Perry. Dr. Q Perry. What is next for you? Where are you taking where do you see your practice, or what do you want for yourself over the next few years?
So I'm excited. I'm actually working on my second and third books. So I'm really excited about
Woo!
that. Yeah. So I'm
We
working
like
on
a
both
book
of
now.
those. Yes. Love a book. So I'm working on those. And then practice wise, I'm really wanting to expand. So I'm in the process of praying about expanding, because I can't see everybody. So probably starting to hire someone, have a group practice, and really lean more into the sports and entertainment side of my business.
Because they need it.
We all do. But I do think that sports and entertainment, I mean, even though it's starting to be, especially on the sports side of things, it's starting to be more regular, talking about mental health and wellness. But I think people who live unique lifestyles are often overlooked because of the perception that money solves everything, and it only heightens the stuff that's
Now we
already
preaching.
there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So just being able to offer them a safe space, because most likely with their lifestyle or fame and all that kind of stuff, they're not going to come to an office space. And so my practice also offers concierge where I can go to them.
And that was just what I was thinking, was like, how do they seek you out, or like, are you at games like scouting, like, hey, y'all need to
No,
know?
we're not scouting.
No, I'm just saying, because like she said, it's kind of like,
Networking, not
do you
scouting.
see them coming into like, an office space, and that's a dude, y'all, you know what I mean? So I'm just curious how that happens.
Well, marketing is definitely different. It's definitely different, because they're not going to find me on a directory. So I definitely have had to be, and I'm still trying to be strategic and placing myself in spaces with people that they trust, right? And making sure that they know that even if it's somebody famous, I see them as a person, and I'm not a fan in that, in that space, to where, I'm taking pictures and selling it to the blog and all that kind of stuff. So just making sure that I create a certain level of trust with them.
Right. That makes sense. We always talk about a good self-care routine. We talked about that a little bit in Girl Talk today.
Our
What are
massages, yes.
What are you doing, Dr. Q, for self-care?
So I do a lot of things. So I didn't know this about myself till I got out of grad school, but I love crafts. So I do a lot of craft, a lot of home decor. So I do that. And then I also do a lot of reading. I just like doing a lot of creative things. I like to do journaling. Like that is really, really, really good for me. Sometimes it's prayer journaling, and sometimes it's just, regular journaling. But that's and spending time with my dog and my son when he's home, and traveling.
What kind of
That's my
dog?
self-care. Girl,
You
it
ask
is
about
a
the dog. I'm gonna ask about traveling.
okay. So I have a Shih Tzu.
Okay.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what
We
you
like
have,
it.
Dr. Courtney?
No, I have a
It's a
Yorkie. I have an
Yorkie.
old puppy. A
Oh,
little
you do.
Yorkie.
What's his name or her name?
Jazz. Jazz is about 17 years old. Yes.
Jazz.
Jazz
Okay.
been around a while.
Jazz is
my dog is Marble, and Marble will be 5 next
that's
week.
Oh,
so
Marble. I
Right.
like that.
Don't lose
That's
them.
cute.
Don't lose your marbles. That's so
That's
cute.
so cute.
Oh my God. You're a psychologist. You got marbles and don't lose them. Oh my
I
God.
love it. I'm gonna post it.
Is that why you named your dog Marble or no?
No, I named him that because of his color. He
I'm
looked
your
like a
new PR.
marble floor. But
Don't lose your marbles.
thank you, Dr. Courtney.
Do not. Oh my gosh.
I just thought about that. That is so great.
Me and
Look
Sylvia
at
So
that.
both
great. I'm gonna tell my
I'm glad
son
you
as soon as we're done.
I'm going into marketing.
Embarrassed. Oh my God.
Lord have mercy.
You were gonna ask about traveling, Dr. Courtney?
Yes. So where have you been anywhere exciting or what's on your travel bucket list?
Not recently. Most recently, international travel was to Jamaica, which was amazing.
Where'd you stay? I'm going in the fall.
I do not
Uh-oh.
but I can't remember the name of the resort. But yeah, it was great.
Okay.
I had a great time.
Mhm.
And then on my bucket list, I want to get to the UK.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
Anywhere in the UK. Yep.
Go and visit
My
King
dream.
Charles and Queen Camilla.
Let me do that.
Lord.
Let me do that.
The new King Charles and Queen Camilla.
Yes.
I love the UK. You'll have a great time. You'll have a great time.
Yes, I do want to take my mom on the Paris London tour, so that may be
I bet that'll
on
be
the horizon for
awesome.
next summer. Yes.
That's exciting.
All right.
Well, friends, this has been a great show. Thank you,
It
Dr.
has.
Q Perry, for joining us tonight. We can't wait to have you back when you write your next book or whatever. This has been so helpful and it's going to help so many people. Happy Mother's Day, y'all. We are selling our
Thank
shirts
you.
at
Happy Mother's Day.
3mt.links. So that would be a great Mother's Day gift.
that
It's
it?
our self-care line.
Shoot, I just hit that. I
And-
was going to put something else.
Either
Three Friends Talk Shop? No?
or.
Oh,
Both. Either
Put
or.
it. Yes, Dr. Leah.
Oh my gosh.
I had edited it and everything.
Look at that.
You can get t-shirts there. 3friendstalk.shop as well. So happy Mother's Day, y'all. Happy Mother's Day to my 3 friends right here. Thank y'all for all that you do. I know it's not an easy job, but y'all make it look easy. And until next time, friends.
Until next time, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye,
Thank
friends.
you. Thank y'all for having me so much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dr.